value, or you understand the strengths, the weakness, the value, and the market ratio of that particular technology, so for you to have a better value during mergers or acquisitions. One of the key things what you also would want to do is you will understand is that how good the technology is, and also who are the key inventors for that particular technology. And in case of a merger or acquisition, would the key inventors also will be part of the team which will be moving in. So these are all the important elements which will contribute for deciding whether a merger happens or not. In addition to mergers, one more activity which most of the companies use the patent information is to guide the R&D units, especially in a case where the company would want to get into a new stream of business, or it could be development of a new product. It is very essential you need to understand the technological change or the technological trend, or you need to understand where the technology is headed towards. So the information what you can retrieve by doing an effective patent analysis will be very useful for you to guide the R&D team. This is one of the other methods which the company use the patent information, even though it's a very traditional approach. As I mentioned earlier, traditionally patent information has been used to do the novelty search or to do the litigation preparation as such. So again, patent information is also used before an effective enforcement of a patent rights. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's extremely interesting to listen to some people like you, Mr. Prabhu, because we do understand that the business is there. We're not talking about information for nothing. We're talking about business and money. And I do appreciate your way of talking. So now I'll give the floor to Arvind Chopra from the European Business and Technology Center. Thank you, Arvind.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hanath. And I promise you that I will complete before your stopwatch beeps. Okay. I must thank Mr. Ajay Garg and EPO for bringing us all here together to have a discussion on the patent information system, and for organizing this and developing that tool, because it is one of was our objectives to basically do technology transfer at EBTC, and therefore we are in need of such tools so that we get more inquiries on such things and help in collaborating between EU and India. Having said this, I would move to the presentation, and I would probably be skipping up the points because my friend Rakesh has already taken a lot of my slides, so it becomes much easier at the time. Okay, just to have an overview, patent legislation is what a patent information and what legislation states. A patent information system is basically an aggregation of information, and if you have an aggregation of information, you can create either knowledge out of it, you can create wisdom, you can also assess behavior of some examiners out of it. I'm sorry to say in front of EPO, but you can say how they prosecute. You can have a patent portfolio and manage it across through file wrappers, how various portfolios are being managed. So you do a lot of stuff out of it. I'm going to quickly take some minutes on this. Sharing technical information against the protection provided is one of the legislations which is there, that you are given a patent to disclose what best information you can provide, and others can basically further this information. And I used to search patents around 5-7 years back in the Japanese, which had a translation of raw translation, and what it gave me was a problem statement, an abstract, and what it continued, how it furthered the information. So that was a very unique way of actually presenting a patent, because it gave me the crux, how the previous invention was taken further by another. And this activity between 80 and 90 made Japan one of the most innovative countries, taking forward some of the best patents and building its structure. And then practicing the invention, I think the Indian legislation also provides for this, that you need to work the patent in India or in the jurisdiction so that others can understand how it works. And then There is always sharing of information, as I already told you. The major part comes from the data visualization, where you can variously visualize data. You can have the TLCs, the technology life cycle, the innovation trends, and other aspects out of the patent data. So it's a very useful aggregation of information that can be actually created, and you can use it for n number of purposes. I will take the data visualization little further because I have few examples, thanks to EPO's GPI and thanks to Patrick for giving me access for 2-3 months to prepare all those stuff. GPI is an advanced tool where you have some basic visualizations which maybe Patrick would speak about after me. And the basic is data linkages and mapping, because understanding competition was almost covered by Rajesh comprehensively, so thanks to him for helping me out there. So data linkages is when you create a portfolio. I remember when I was working with the US law firms, they had single provisional application and multiple continuation and divisional application, and all of them prosecution at one point ran parallel. And the claim sets we had to analyze it, and then we had to analyze which examiner rejects what claims, which have to be dropped, which have to be taken further. So it was a kind of a game being played between us in terms of getting which patents could be taken up and how far we can actually picket fence the technology area. So that was a unique experience in those terms, and that is one of the best ways we used file wrappers. Understanding competition, you will mostly find, as per my experience in the background, okay, whether you write it or not, the inventor normally writes some points which you can understand and make a meaning out of it, what competitors are doing. The patenting activity also throws some light on the activation, and if you are good enough to search the same inventor from taking out those inventors who have filed applications on behalf of competitors on Google Scholar, you would also get an intelligence what they are doing, because they do publish a lot of IEEE documents there. Okay, and if you combine, you would still have a rough idea of what is next. How can you use that? You can basically try to avoid what they are doing, or you can probably see what would be worthless investing in. So that gives you a fair amount of idea as to what they are doing and how to strategize your product line against them. Competitive intelligence is one thing which automatically comes from all these visualizations you create. So you create a patent wrapper portfolio where you have all these claims, you're analyzing it against how they are developing, how they are progressing under prosecution. You have these competitors who are filing products, you have product lines, and then you have this technology life cycles. If you take them all together, you find what competitive intelligence you need for business purpose. So that is another way of analyzing. It requires a lot of time and effort, but definitely you can create a meaning out of it. White space analysis, I think everyone understands. You basically do the a kind of a patent landscape, understand where the patent claims are, draw the islands and identify what are the spaces between them, and you get potential candidates for patenting something if they are available. Try to do a prior art search again on the patent information system, and then probably you can move further. File wrapper reviews are basically more for attorneys in terms of identifying how particular examiners are reacting, or whether this application would get abandoned, or what are the things which need to be understood from the how claims are getting controlled, what are the substantive reviews in terms of legal terminology that particular examiner is asking for. So this is an example of data visualization which I took from the GPI. So GPI is a tool which is provided by EPO, and if you see, this is basically a very simple diagram of date of priority and applicants shown on two axes. And what you get is basically, like for example, basically the area of the circle depends on how much documents are there. And this is not all intelligence. The intelligence is created when you analyze, for example, in this case, 25 documents. It may so happen that these documents were filed in different years and they all got granted in the same year. So it does not show the technology trend. You would have to analyze them and see how the technology life cycle has progressed or which product it assigned to. Likewise, you can always find who are the major players you can see what acquisitions you need to play, what they are doing, how they are doing. All this information can be actually attained from patents. Okay, there's also a business part of it. Okay, you can basically fairly assess when the innovation hits the market. For example, a few anticipations of Apple patents are done based on the patenting activity. So if you have some tactile feedback, you know if there is some new product, you align it with other social tools and you see there could be some potential thing which might come out. This has been practiced for a long time. Who are the key organizations who are innovating in the market? That is majorly for either acquisitions, if you want to. How do you basically plan your business strategy? Do you want these patents? Do you merge with them? Do you buy out? So all these things you can actually learn from this. Just have the non-patent database integrated into it and it becomes a kind of a wisdom for you. Who is inventing? A major case was at one point of time around 7-8 years back on 3 or 4 June, they were basically searching who are the major inventors, and I didn't know for what reason, but my anticipation is for hiring. So that could be another potential way of knowing who is doing what and what to do where. Most productive industries, you can see if the patenting activity is fast, you understand that this is one of the growing industries, so that is also an information you create out of it. And then basically, which are the good countries for patenting? That is like, there is a jurisdictional spread of specific domains with specific countries, so you know where the technologies lie. This is much helpful when you are doing technology transfer, especially when we do technology transfer from Europe into India. We know where, for example, we can get a flat panel for solar cells, or where we can actually get something else in terms of other technologies. And of course, acquisitions happen. Rakesh has already spoken about it. This is a priceless example of value proposition of patents. This is a famous case of Mike Burrows, who did a steel frame. Courtesy Wikipedia, the Lotus cycle I have never seen, but it looks something like this. And this became famous when in Barcelona Olympics, Chris Broadman actually won a gold medal, and it was the gold medal won in 72 years by a British. So they were quite excited. Burrow did not patent his invention, so he lost everything. The steel frames were all over. He realized his mistake and later on did a patent search, and I think it was explicitly said that he used a Dewart or something called Delphian for this, and then he found that what he has invented was already protected somewhere. This did not discourage him from doing anything further. He then revisited it and improved upon his invention, and which is now called as spoked wheels. And later on, he came up with an invention which he protected first and then demonstrated. Now he happens to have commercialized it and is one of the millionaires with a company called Jane, with which he collaborated and commercialized his invention. So it's a unique example of using a patent information system to create values. So it has come by experience to him, but I think what we are discussing is something which we already know, so we can be a little bit more intelligent in trying to implement it first. I think this is all which I wanted, and I think I'm on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arvin. Once again, we have a nice story, and I do thank you very much, Arvin, for this conclusion regarding this invention. Now, we are going to ask Patrick Le Goniguec to show to us few tools which are offered to all of you for free by the EPO, and what kind of information you could get out of these different tools. And if you are kind enough to wait for a few seconds, Patrick will even for the first time ever show to you out of these tools some Indian informations which have been loaded few hours back. So Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, François Régis. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Arvind, for being so active in your GPI promotion in India. Yeah, so GPI is one of our pattern information products, but we have some others. Good. So let's start again from the beginning. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to show you our patent portfolio and maybe to focus on some of our products. We have basically two categories of products. Some of them are for human beings. For example, if I take the one in the middle, the register, this is a very interesting application which provides you with all the informations related to patent applications. This is the right place where to find for procedural data, for legal status data, also to access to the EP file wrapper where you would find all the correspondence between the applicant and the European Patent Office. Worth mentioning that the register allows you, for example, to gain in terms of legal certainty because we offer links from the register to national registers of our member states, and we always recommend users to go to the national registers again to have legal certainty. The one in blue is maybe not as well known as the register. It is called the EPS, the European Publication Server, which is actually the official repository of EP patent publications. This is the only place at the EPO where you are sure every Wednesday at 2 p.m. to find the most recent publications of the EPO with publication quality, meaning, for example, the PDF you could get on this platform. It is character-coded PDF, contrary to what you would find, for example, in ESPASnet, which includes actually scan pages. So in ESPASnet you find images. Another entry-level, easy-to-use application of the EPO is ESPASnet. So it's